Hey, what's up YouTube? I am Mintu Choi. So good to be with you. I'm a full-time filmmaker and I like making sneaker videos here on the side. I like making crispy, cinematic sneaker videos. I like talking about sneakers and I love just being a part of the sneaker community here on YouTube. Quick shout out to Fomer Simpson and Buckets for making a dope hoodie. I was able to secure my size on that infamous day when the trophy rooms were being released and so many other sneakers, and this made up for it. So big shout outs to you, Fomer. Really appreciate the content you make. It inspires me. Grateful for you. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite sneakers of all time. It's definitely up there on my Mount Rushmore of best sneakers of all time for me. It's a sneaker that's been around for like 25 years and it's been released and re-released multiple times. It released again this past year in 2020 to celebrate 25 years. It's the Air Max 95 OG in the original neon colorway. Let's take a look. I think the average sneaker design looks more like the Air Max 90. And for good reason. The Air Max 90 is a classic. It is a beautiful sneaker. But it definitely has a mixture of different design aesthetics and color blocking. It just looks like it's more of a Frankenstein sneaker. Now, when you compare that to the Air Max 95, I feel like this is a much more unified design. It feels a little bit more sophisticated in its concept. And this design was made by Sergio Lozano, a young designer brought in by Nike and Tinker Hatfield during the mid-90s to kind of revitalize the Air Max line. When you think about Air Max sneakers, you think about the 1, you think about the 3/90, and then the next iteration that kind of became prominent was the Air Max 95. Now, what I love about the 95 is that it really sticks out in the Air Max line. It kind of changed the course of like the design philosophy of the Air Max line. I think about the next prominent edition is the Air Max 97, which borrows heavily off of the design of the 95. And I think when the sneaker first came out, what's really interesting to me as you read about the history of the sneaker is that even some prominent Nike executives didn't like this shoe. It didn't look like a running shoe right off the bat. It looked really bulky. It looked really heavy. It was kind of like a clunky design when you compared it to other running and cross-training sneakers in that era. The neon pop with the gray, it had this weird kind of aesthetic going on, especially with the wavy paneling. And in a lot of ways, it got a lot of criticism, both good and bad. But ultimately, when the sneaker hit the market, Sergio Lozano would ultimately be vindicated. This sneaker just exploded. So what are my favorite parts of a sneaker like this? First of all, man, I really enjoy black outsole midsoles. The Air Max 95 was one of the first sneakers to utilize a black sole. And I think the choice for doing that was actually to increase the longevity of the sneaker. We all know white soles get dirty instantly. And Sergio Lozano just wanted a sneaker that would look fresh much longer, that you could wear it multiple times, and it still look fairly clean. The second design element that I really appreciate about the Air Max 95 is the upper panel in this gradient gray colorway. What I love about it is two things. One is that it still feels like it retains the spirit of like the colorfulness of an Air Max sneaker. What I love about Air Max sneakers in general is that color blocking can get really creative. But on the Air Max 95, I think that there's a more streamlined design element. So each of these panels are a different color, and it kind of reminds me of like, you know, the different color blocking on like the Air Max 90s and the Air Max 1s. It still has that, but it's a much more sophisticated, almost subtle design where each panel now looks similar. They're just on different portions of the sneaker. But the fact that he used this gradient to create a dark to light as you move up on the sneaker, I think it was a really smart and sophisticated choice. The third thing that I really appreciate about a sneaker like this is just kind of the neon hits. This was one of the first Nike Air Max sneakers to really utilize the Volt neon color in a prominent way. And I think it was this shoe that really inspired this color to become like a staple amongst sneakers in general. You see this color now everywhere on various different silhouettes and lines. And when you think about the overall aesthetic of a sneaker like this, imagine the sneaker with just the various tones of gray. It wouldn't be a very eye-popping shoe, but with the Volt color, you really feel like this sneaker just pops. It brings kind of like a balance to it, a nice contrast to it. And I would say this is the most recognizable gray sneaker ever. You can tell when someone is wearing this sneaker. You can tell from a very far distance someone is rocking these, and I really like that. It's a subtle sneaker up close, but from far away it's instantly recognizable. Overall, I think they did an incredible job of replicating the OG sneaker. They even added details that aren't not necessarily on other retros. They added the specs, the technical specs on the bottom of the sneaker. Everything else just looks really clean. So those have been my thoughts on the Air Max 95 OG Neon. I would be curious to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts on this sneaker? Is this sneaker still fire? Is it still relevant today? It's a 25-year-old design. Is the technology outdated? Is the aesthetic still holding up? Would definitely love to hear your thoughts below. By the way, I have really enjoyed the encouragements and the feedback that you have been giving me in my videos. I really appreciate that. My goal is always to be able to respond and just interact with you. I really appreciate this YouTube community so much. And yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. I'm excited for the next video. Hopefully it's gonna come before the end of the month, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace, friends.